Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
Folks, as I say, as always, as the good Scotsman, grab yourself a pint, pull up a chair. It's time for another episode of the Soul Sessions. I am, of course, your host as always, Soul. Now, we've had this championship on the show before, but it's with a new man right now. Big Wade, you are the Square One Academy champion. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, got it. But it's the most important thing.
Hey,
So
good
right
to
in.
have you. Wade, you know what? Wade, we have a routine here on the show. Every guest has a story. Every story has a beginning. Wade, how did your story begin as a wrestling fan?
So I was massively into wrestling as a kid. Grew up watching it behind my mum's back most of the time. My mum was not a massive keen fan of wrestling, so it was really funny. I could pinpoint the day where I had to stop watching wrestling. So my mum completely stopped it. It was the day Kane got unmasked. Funny enough. And it was years and years went by. I didn't watch it at all. Completely forgot about it. It went to the back of my mind. Went into football, news routine stuff. But then it was lockdown actually. Just chilling at home, nothing on the TV. And funny enough, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw Edge had come back. Massive Edge fan growing up. And I thought, I haven't watched wrestling in ages. I'm sure he broke his neck. So how is he back? So dipped into it, had a watch. Then I found the WWE Network. Started watching it all again. Went right back to when Kane was unmasked and watched everything. All the way through lockdown. And refound the love and the passion for it. And then it was when they came back to the UK and went to the O2. And I went with my partner. And we at this point I'd put on a bit of weight. She turned around to me and said, you ever thought about giving this a go? And I went, to be honest, no, it looks really painful. I not really, no. And she, next thing I know, I get a message from her saying, well, I've found a place where you can sign, you can train, and I've signed you up for this Sunday. The rest is history.
Wow, hey, fair dues. I mean, it's quite a journey, my friend. Well done for you on that. And of course, you know, you mentioned dipping out of wrestling and then coming back, and there's a lot for you to catch up on. A couple of good few years of stuff. And
100%.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. That catch-up period, was there anything that surprised you or were like, oh, wow, this is actually very good?
So, first thing that when obviously I watched the more recent stuff first and then decided to go back in time was the change, the drastic change. Like there wasn't as much, it sounds really bizarre, no more blood anymore, no more cussing, no more. It was all very, very family friendly. And it was something that I wasn't used to. I was like, oh, this is different to what I'm used to. No more being chucked off the top of the steel cage. No more. It all seemed to be very protected, but at the same time, it was interesting because another character that drew to my mind was the Fiend Bray Wyatt. It was another eye catcher to me. Growing up loving the Big Red Monster, seeing the Fiend as a character was another one that went to me and went, oh, this is interesting. This is new, and it's the way that wrestling has always seemed to adapt to the times. It always makes its way and makes its mark in certain ways, especially now. The way wrestling is now, especially portrayed in the UK and the independent scene, you can see how the love from kids that are enjoying it, the love from parents that are seeing it going, oh, I remember this, and this is exactly how I remembered it. And yeah, it's a different. It's that for me is everything. I love seeing people enjoying it, and you don't see many people walking away from a wrestling show now going, "Oh, this was rubbish. I don't know why I ever bothered." There's a lot of good talent out there.
Oh, hey, 100% there for the talent there, and it's bursting to the brims, as they say. You know, we really got a great bunch of talent up here and up and down this whole country. Obviously, you know, you spoke about loving wrestling as a child, and I feel like with wrestling, it's always important to have that child demographic in mind. You know, whether it's through action figures or video games or characters bigger than life, because they are important, because they will always be the future wrestlers, future fans. And some people are like, no, I want my wrestling to have blood, swearing, and all of this that I could see on
Yeah.
HBO. But then it's like, but remember, there's not just you. Do you think it's really important that wrestling always has the younger demographic in mind?
100%, because at the end of the day, yes, I say there's a lot of good talent out there, but I come from, like I say, my football background. I was a goalkeeper. There's only one in each team, and if you don't inspire the young generation, that position's never filled. Wrestling has also got to inspire a young kid to go, do you know what? I want to step in the ring. I want to be the next Edge. I want to be the next Big Show. I want to be name anyone. I want to be the next of them. And if you don't inspire them to think about that, they're never going to do it. And that's why I always think, that's why when I'm in ring, when I'm performing, I tend to look for a fan. Yes, I'm a big nasty bloke in the ring. I like to pick my fan out and go like, let's make his day, just by giving him that interaction. Because you bring him into it, you then bring his dad into it, and it's now the dad wants to see his son do it. If they turn around and say, "I want to do this," it's it's the magic.
Mm-hmm. As well,
The younger fans bring the future. That's my opinion.
Hey, I think that's a fair point to have there, my friend, because you think about it, people are like, oh, I want to see the fancy moves, and that will be a memorable moment, yes, but then there's a personal memorable moment that you have with that one audience member, and that will stick with them longer than I think any big move or big moment within a match, because it's a personal connection, and it's just as important. I mean,
Yeah.
Really sticks to land in there, brother. But of course, we've spoken about some, this talent is really bursting at the seam. And I know WWE recently had a UK trial. There's rumors of people like Luke Jacobs, Riho, Zaya, all there. And it's quite amazing to see that. I mean, I want to know, Wade, is there anyone in your personal opinion that you would love to see that who maybe was there or wasn't there get an opportunity with the WWE?
You see, I've so when I started, my first ever training session was with Tommy Kyle. So I walked in and he saw I was a bigger lad. I was a lot bigger than I am now, and he was like, "This is gonna be hard on you. Let's see how you get on." Because I said, "I'm coming here to watch. He said, come and do the warm up. Let's see how you get on." Did the warm up, was blowing, absolutely gassed, could barely stand up, and he goes, "Right, let's have you sit down for a minute and just have a watch." And that was the warm up, and my face dropped. Sort of went, "What? That's the warm up." But the one thing I remembered him saying at the end of it was that, Joe, you can be gassed, you can do this, but if you try, you'll get far in this. It's all about trying. And to be fair to Tommy Kyle, when he gets a pupil come in, he never gives up on them. He will be there for you. He will teach you everything you can. And I owe a lot of my career to him, and his talent is incredible. The stuff he can do in ring, like I've seen a lot of people come and go with this, and worked with a lot of amazing people, but he really sticks out. And I'd love one day to see him get that far and get that achievement fulfilled, because he deserves a lot. Tommy Kyle, to be fair, for the amount of hours he's put back in to the future again.
Yeah, absolutely. Tommy's been on this show before. He's an exceptional individual. He's left a lot of great impact within the scene, and I would love to see him in NXT or main roster. Heck, him and Ethan Page, I think, would be an exceptional match.
Yeah, 100%.
Dream booking, brother. Absolutely. But of course, the place you really got your start, obviously, the Square One Academy, connected to UBW. I've had many people on there. The environment there, I've been told, and I've seen it myself, is quite exceptional. It's special.
Yeah.
Wait, what's it like, obviously, for yourself from your point of view, being at Square One / UBW?
Yeah, it's a special place. I've worked a few companies now down this way, and it's a family. UBW is a family. You'll walk in there, but it's open family. Anyone is accepted. Anyone can come in. Anyone can feel that family atmosphere. I feel very fortunate and very lucky that I walked into that building, and that was the place I chose to train, because everyone's got their input. Everyone's got how they see you being better. Everyone's trying to make you a better person, a better wrestler. And yeah, I landed on my feet. The Hugo Bloom, what he's got running down there, Justin, he's opened up a very special training school, and that new facility that we've just opened up, wow, it's like it's a performance center of its own. 3-level floor gym. I'll shout it out for him. It's got weights building, you've got cardio rooms, you've got a studio. We're also getting a sound studio getting put in there. It's state of the art. Ring 24 hours a day, go whenever you want, use that 16-foot ring. There's not many places that you get that sort of facility just at your mercy to go and use. And the coaches, again, Paul Ash, massive name, he's been a massive input. He will help you with anything. His phone is always on. You could be sat there before a show wondering what sort of moves what you should hit, what you should do. And as we remember the time I picked up the phone going, Ash, I'm absolutely stumped. What should I do? And he'll go, yep, talk it through what we got. And he'll go, this is how you make it from an average match to this match will be remembered for a little while in the eyes of the fans. And again, he's a massive name to pick out. But again, it's a special place. The locker room is always open to, again, I'll go over it again, open to anyone. We'll welcome anyone down there. And yeah, I don't think I would have continued if I'd started anywhere else.
Fair dues, mate. It sounds like the Disney World of, performance centers. I mean, quite up there with everything it offers, and amazing, truly amazing. Of course, Wade, obviously building yourself up, learning, adapting, obviously prepares you for that first real live experience show. So I want to know your journey to getting onto a first ever live show and performing in front of a crowd.
Course. So my journey was a different one to most. So most people do their training, they go train, and then they'll get on a live show. My first live experience was after I met Vinnie Cray. That's how Wade became a thing. I was sat there one day again watching a Glenn Jacobs documentary, and because I'm a massive fan of Kane, and I was trying to build Wade. Who was Wade? And I came up with the idea of being a mercenary, someone who would be a gun for hire, being a bigger lad, something quite cool. Then I thought, but a lot of mercenaries are nice and pristine looking, athletic kind of guys, so that doesn't kind of work for me. So I thought about security. And I went, who would need security in the UBW scene currently? Then the mayor of Cray City, Vinnie Cray, popped into my mind. And I said, there's an idea for him. Messaged him saying, hey, how about the mayor having some security on shows? And he goes, love it. Pitch it. Never spoken to the guy before in my life. And he was just like, yeah, love it. Pitch it, we'll work together, no problems. Pitched it to Paul and Justin, and they immediately was like, yeah, let's do this. That sounds great. So immediately on getting security gear, got that on. And I was ringsiding with Vinny, getting used to how to generate heat from outside the ring, but also watching the ring to be like, see how that works and learn from an even better perspective. But it gave me that feeling of making a fan's day, of going and being in their face, getting them riled up. And that meant when I then debuted as a singles competitor, the toxic heat I received from the fans was already there. They already knew who I was. So that helped, because I can imagine there's a time where a new wrestler would walk through the curtain, music's playing, fans look around. Oh, who's this then? With me, I got it's Big Wade. We hate him already. We know exactly what to do. We'll boo him to the hills. And that made it easier. It did make it easier. But what also made it easier was the guy that I then ended up facing that day, which was El Antonio. Me and him came through training together. It was one of the first people I met in wrestling. But for his age, he's a solid wrestler. And he put me through my debut when he had only been through his debut, only himself 3 months ago. And I remember walking away from that match going, that was awful. I let him down. It was that's how I felt. And I remember again, it's like he said to me was, were the fans up when they needed to be? Were they happy when they needed to be? Were they cheering me when they needed to be? In terms of Argentinio, and he said, and I said, yes, they was. Because were they booing you in your heat? Were they toxic? Were they completely against you? And I said, yes, they was. He goes, well, we've done our jobs then. We've taken those fans on that journey that they needed to go on to understand the match, understand who we are, understand everything. And he said, the match wasn't that bad. Watch it back. Went home and watched it back that night, and I said, I'm proud of that, actually. I'm really happy. It's day one on the job in terms of real being in the ring, wrestling. But it was also terrifying. I'm honest. I'm one of those. I'm an honest character.
Yeah.
Being in the ring the first time was absolutely terrifying. It was. I remember shaking before my music hit. But it's almost like you walk through that curtain and you can switch yourself off, and you go, I'm now Big Wade. I'm the scariest person in the room. Everyone, in fact, is scared of me. And that's what carried me through that day.
Fair play, brother. Fair play. And I think it just speaks to that, any hobby you do or any passion you have, you're always going to be very overcritical because you love it so much and you want to know that you're doing the best that you can be. And obviously, I think with professional wrestling, most of all, is that it's so online focused now as well, with fans, discussions, and all that, that you always know that, yes, there may be a handful of people in the room that you're in right now, but if somebody's recording that or all that, they could be on a message boards, and there's always that bigger, wider audience.
Yeah.
Do you think with professional wrestling that it is one of those sports or entertainment properties that for performers and wrestlers that it is always very self-critical?
Yes, 100%. I always find myself, especially now, debuting talent will come up to me after the match, go, oh, I didn't enjoy that, and I'll put the same things back to them, saying, look, was this right? Was this what went well? Don't look at so much of the stuff that went wrong. You'll always find in professional wrestling they'll have opinions. Everyone will have an opinion, and you can get 5 pieces of feedback from people. 4 of them will say this, but 1 of them will say this. So say, for example, oh, that suplex looked wrong. It didn't look right. The next few people say, oh, that suplex looked great. 4 people. That one person may have not been so right, so don't be so hypercritical on it. Don't listen to the one, listen to the majority. That's what's kept me from professional insanity, I would say, with being hypercritical. If I listen to my own brain all the time, I don't think any of this would happen. And that's why I say to all the new guys, even people that have been around ages, they'll walk around going, oh, I didn't think I did too well there. And mate, you blew the house down. Did you hear him out there for you? Like, why are you being so upset about it? I know we in the back, we all know that went wrong, but it's about, with wrestling, again, it's recovery. How well you recover and how well you get back on the horse and keep riding. Because just because something's gone wrong, it isn't the end of the world. And again, the more people that practice that preach, it will only get better.
Absolutely. You may know it's wrong in the moment, but it's that initiative to just go with it or change quickly on the fly that corrects it. And internet wrestling fans are a very particular bunch. They like to say this and this and this, but one thing they are good at, I will give them praise for this, is documenting. They like to categorize everything. They like to know the history, and one of those is through what I like to call Tony Khan's favorite website, cagematch.com. Obviously, it's a website that documents a lot of wrestlers, matches, titles, and of course you have a page on it. Your career is documented on it. And how does it feel to know that you're documented on a website that's possibly viewed by thousands of people?
It was fascinating at first. I first learned about it through a few of the lads in the locker room, and I wondered what it was. I had a look, so I thought, oh well, day one. I've had day one. Let's stick it up there and see what happens. See what comes across. And then, Big Wade was a thing. And then I found that when you typed in Big Wade on Google at one point, and Big Wade wrestler to be precise, my name came up before Wade Barrett, and I was like, oh, this is a bit interesting. Why is this happening? But then I learned about clicking, and that because I was clicking on it so much. To start off with, it was to show people and go, look, I'm on a website. I can do this now. I've got I'm building a following on Instagram. I've got people who will message me going, oh, I've seen your video. That was amazing. What's it like to do it and bits like that. I have people. It sounds bizarre locally. I'll go out with my old man to the shops, and people will stop me and go, "Big Wade, can I have a photo?" And I'm like, I'm only in my hometown. I'm not a WWE superstar. I'm not this, but to the local fans and the fans, especially fans of Millswade, they've all been an amazing support of mine. And it's the social media audience. I try not to listen to a lot of it because you do get, like you say, you've got everyone's again opinions. You've got your internet trolls. You've got all these people that will go, "Oh yeah, that was wrong. You shouldn't have doing it like that." But I'd like to oppose them. Have you ever been in a ring? Have you ever done this? Have you ever tried this? It's not for everyone, but it is so much so at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, social media, mate, double-edged sword. It's a benefit, it's a negative. Everyone's on it, but do you think as well, Wade? With just the modern climate of the world and entertainment, that for wrestlers in particular, especially on the independent level, that social media is one of your biggest tools?
Oh, 100%. It's something that I've had to learn to really understand, and still am. I'm just trying to understand, like these sort of things, like your podcasts and bits like this. It's something that I'd never dreamed, never thought about doing, never thought about doing this. So Instagram is, again, it's something where me being, it's going to sound bizarre, bring this into it, being a dyslexic, making sure everything is typed perfectly, because you will have someone go, "That's not how you spell that. That's not the right way to word it." And it's always like, oh, so yes, but it really does, because without social media, you can't get yourself out there. It's where we put our clips up. It's where we go, look at us. This is who we are. It's how you tell your story to the fans that don't come every week, so they can go, oh, if I look at Big Wade's page, oh, he faced this person last show. I didn't go to that. Then he faced this person. Oh, the story must be he's aiming for this. And they try and piece their own puzzles together, and then they understand it more when they get to the shows. And unless you're on the, like, I know they've recently changed the name, but like Fight TV or anything like that, you don't get the publicity that people would when people subscribe to those sort of things. So it's a great tool to get yourself out there and get yourself spotted. Mm-hmm. And anyone that's trying to reach those heights, 100% promote to getting a social media account, get it up and running, try to understand it, because it can get you noticed. Like myself, I didn't even realize that you yourself even followed me in bits like this and knew what I was doing. So it was a special feeling, to be honest, when I got your message to say to come and be on this, because a few of the lads have all spoken about it and bits like that. But to be asked to be on it myself, I was like, wow, okay, why am I so interesting? It was sort of one of those in terms of enough to be on this. So.
Wait, you're making me blush, you bastard. Oh, come on, man, come on. It's the amazing thing of this is that, with the worldwide connectivity we have, you can talk to somebody like in the States, and it's not like, oh, I'm sending this by mail. That's going to take 3 weeks. We have that connective world now, and it's a true joy and element of it as well. I mean, that's just the great part of it, Wade. I mean, it's just how the world works and how things are. I mean, I think one thing we do obviously have to talk about as well, you are the Square One Academy champion. Congrats, obviously, of course, on that. And I've had the 2 previous champions, Tony Sin and Harrison Leon as well, both great, exceptional lads as well. But to have your moment in that, you're in the next part of that title's lineage. Talk about that championship.
So again, it's one of those ones where walking in the building, the first building I walked into was Square One Academy, which is where you learn your craft. And we all spoke about it. What title would you want to win first in this industry? And we always talk about it, all of us, when we start, is Square One Academy champion. And you look at the people like you say, Leo Edwards, Harrison Leon, Tony Sin, Chris Aries now, as it goes by. They are some exceptional talent. Like, you look at the stuff Tony Sin's doing in Australia at the minute. It's amazing. You see the people he's rubbing shoulders with. Harrison Leon the same, doing stuff, but taking his trips to Florida, honing his craft. He's someone where, being the two giants in terms of height in our local area, it was when I first watched him, it was I need to match with him. I didn't think it would ever be for the Square One title, but I need to be in his face right from the off and be like, we're the two giants. Let's go toe to toe. And I learned a lot from him in that short period of time. Like, my full ever first appearance was a Rumble. What first thing I got told I'm doing is walking straight into Harrison Leon's face and getting in his face. And I thought, great, that'll get me get me some heat going. That's good, because being a bad guy is something that I always wanted to do. And I just remember all the stuff he taught me. Like, don't go too heavy, don't go too hard, don't gash yourself out too quick. And he said he was just like, just enjoy the moment. And again, we did some matches on like Fate shows and bits like this to be ready for a lot of the other bits that we did against each other. And again, just watching his movement in the ring in terms of being a big guy, being that presence, being someone who fans are going to remember because they go, God, he was massive. How's this guy going to beat him? And you don't want to be remembered as the big guy that was sort of like, oh yeah, he was there. You want to put your name to the top of the card. And Harrison Leon shows how you do that with his character work, with his flair in the ring. Truly exceptional, to be honest, at this level, to see someone that can literally come out on their entrance and have people running to the entranceway. And they've only just heard his song. Like, the guy wrote his own song, which is a credit to himself as well. So, both that title lineage is fantastic. And then again, you mentioned earlier on about guys you'd want to see on WWE. I would say all the guys that have won that title in the last three, so Chris Aries, Tony Sin, Harrison Leon, you could see them all there at some point. Be it NXT, be it WWE main roster. I'm sure one of them, if not all three, will get the opportunity at some stage to at least have a chance. Which is crazy to think that's a tiny academy that came out of used to be a farm's warehouse and a church hall in Henlow, which is a tiny village around where we are. That's mad.
It just speaks to the truth that, you never know where you're going to find a diamond.
No.
It could just be in the rough, or it could be in the weeds. It could be in, some guy who's passed out a bottle of Bucky. It'll be there.
Yeah.
It'll be there. The true joy of it. I mean, obviously as well, you are the current champion, and you're on according to Cage Match, as of the time of recording, you're on day 267 of your reign. When you look back on what you've done with this championship, what are some of your proudest achievements?
I would say proudest achievements-wise is going through what almost all of the four horsemen, as they call themselves. I'm gonna sit there with that. They have Sunset Skip, RJ Singh, Phil Bedwell, not yet Paul Ash. That needs to happen. It's a match that needs to happen, and I mention it to him every day almost. When's it going to happen? Where's it going to be? What time is it going to be? We're going to do it. Because, again, those four men have had a massive impact on my career. When I first won this title, I walked into it saying, I haven't got the experience to hold this yet. I need to build myself now. When I won the title, I had 2 singles bouts before that. So I was like, to then say to me, oh yeah, you're going to carry the Academy title again, when you mentioned those names before, I thought, pure panic, I'll be honest. Pure panic set in. And it was, how do I live up to it? How do I be on their level? How do I bring the Academy title back to being people that are aspiring young wrestlers that want to come through and learn? I thought, I need to face the best this country's ever had to offer at times. And those names alone, to have those on my reign and my title run, I couldn't have dreamed of a more suitable title run for an academy champion. Face these veterans that they know their craft, they know what they're doing, and each time I faced them, it gave me the match knowledge to get better and put on better performances. So I owe a great debt to all of those names, and I'm always one for every match is a learn. Every match is a place to get better, and yeah, those matches are the ones that call out to me. But the match, my favourite match, I must say, of all of them so far, was then my rematch with El Gentonio. Because, like I said, I walked away from the first one going, I wasn't happy with that. I know we can do better. Me and you can do so much better. And we did. With that match, I walked away from it going, I've got this. It may be 200 days into my reign, but finally I know what it means to hold the title that I've got. And I've earned the fact to hold it. And you could have people out there will say that I haven't still. But to me, that said to me, I got this, and I've earned it now. And wrestling is a funny world where it's based wholly on respect. And I've respected this title the whole way through. And I will continue to make sure that whoever that may be that ends this reign knows what it means to hold it, as well as who's had it before, because it's becoming a very respectable title, and it's earned it.
It's truly a very, very respectable title with what the likes of the people before it have done and what you're doing with that title as well, Wade. But you know what? People always like to know the dream matches. Who do you want to face? Who do you want to face? But I want to propose a different question to you, Wade.
Okay.
For the Square One Championship, is there a particular match type you would love to defend the belt in?
So funny enough, it's something that I've always wanted to do. Is being a bigger guy is a gauntlet match. I'd love to defend it in a gauntlet, be it 5, be it 6, be it 8. That's somewhere where you say you can then face a few people that maybe they've just come through. I can put some new guys through their paces and get them in front of a crowd, share the limelight. Then also have some experienced names in there that maybe they're part. I don't like to say it, but past an academy title. Because at the end of the day, it is an academy title. It's for the new guys. It's for the guys that are coming through. But it could be a chance to face and learn again from people like, again, Tommy Carl. He's on my list of people that I'd love to be in a match with, just because of how much he's taught me. Kai Payne at the moment, tearing it up this way. The gauntlet is something that it's like, to say you've run through 8 other competitors to win a match is a cool thing to have on your bucket list. So that could be a chance. I'd love it. The other one is because of a guy that I've had a rivalry with in terms of both on main roster shows, as we call them, and the party shows that we run, is Axeman Bunting. So I've always put it out there that I would love, again, big guy against big guy, a lumberjack match, having the roster around the ring, so the guy can't run away from me. I would eat that up. That's a match, another match type. They're the two that I would love to do.
That would be glorious, quite glorious. Wait, mate, that would be an exception to see there as well. I mean, just the funness of match types, mate. And I'm sure, long may you reign with the Square One Championship, because whoever holds it next, they better be worthy to take you down, and I better be in their DMs really quick to get them on this show and continue the lineage. So I'll be quick. But you know what? Wait, let's talk about the bigger wrestling world as well, because obviously, as we are recording, so like 2 hours and a bit till Monday Night Raw starts here in London. There's a lot of stuff announced for it, but one of the big ones, obviously, is John Cena, Cody Rhodes, face-off number 3. They continue that along this tour.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the program they've built with John Cena and Cody Rhodes?
you see, this is where my unpopular opinions will probably come into play, and this is where the internet may slate me. I think John Cena is currently doing the best work he's done in the WWE. I think he has always been a true natural heel. I think he was forcibly placed in the face of being a face. And the way he's conducted his promos in the last 2 promos, chef's kiss. It's not that he's speaking from the heart as such, but he's telling wrestling fans and people that expect too much of people, who any fan, and not just fans, but anyone in the human race. We expect a lot of people, a lot of celebrities. We expect can we walk up to you and have a photo? We expect them to say yes. We expect them to do this. We expect them to sign the autographs and stand there for hours just signing countless photos over and over and over again. And it tells that story of that. And I like it because it speaks to a lot of people, and it shows that with the fans' reactions to it, that they're understanding it as well on what he's doing. Cody, on the other hand, it sounds really bizarre. I didn't want him to finish the story. I was one of the fans that didn't want him to finish his story. But then when the story was told a bit better in the second time round and it came round to him, then I did want him to win it. But now I look back at it and go, how was the run been? Was he one of those champions where the chase was better than the run so far? And I think yes, he was always one better in the chase. And I feel like yes, he's done a lot of defenses and bits like that. But whom against? I think at the minute for me, John Cena is going to be the name that is going to remind him of his title run. And I mean, AJ Styles has been in there, but for me, that's off memory now. Let's have a think about the matches he's had. I don't think he's had the best run for him. So it's made this match now seem a bit like, oh, he's now got John Cena. Why hasn't he had bigger names before this? And for me, he seems like he's been just fighting Solo Sikoa. Bless Solo, but Jacob's come in and shown you what you needed to do. In my opinion.
Yeah, he brought the new shiny toy and he's like, I'm going to show you how it's done, big man. And it's like, shit. Well,
yeah,
it is what it is.
And that's why, to me, this story's been, I think it's been underplayed and overshadowed in some respects on a lot of the other stories going on. And I think that's a credit to Triple H. There is so many stories going on. There's so much going on in WWE at the moment. But at the same time, if you want to push a big major story, we need to have that as being the major talking points. And sometimes you walk away from shows at the minute and go, oh, wow, but this match was so much better. And to have a build where European tour and 2 out of the 3 so far appearances from John Cena have not got physical. It's kind of like, all these fans that have gone there to pay for a ticket to go and see him, but that's the point. They expect, I'm going back to it, they expect the match. They expect a fight. And it's not happening. But that's the art of it. That's why.
It's not a battle of fists, it's a battle of words and principles, and that's really where their battle is. I mean, hey, if you're paying $260 for a ticket or something, I mean, you can't expect it more for your buck. Ayo, that's how wrestling is right now. But obviously, Triple H has said in multiple interviews along this UK tour that we're possibly not going to get a WrestleMania because the UK government is being too cheap, and it's like, we can't bid for it, we're skint. But then he said, well, you will be another pay-per-view for you in a year and a bit. So I want to know, what do you think we will get if we don't get WrestleMania in the next year or 2?
Well, I mean, looking at one of my ones I'd love to see over here is Chamber. It's
Ooh.
it's a fun pay-per-view. It's always entertaining. But I think we'll get a Rumble. Because that's one that's obviously not been outside the United States or Canada or anywhere like that. A Rumble, for me, sometimes can be bigger than a Mania. So I think having, say, a Royal Rumble at Wembley would be out of this world for an experience. So, and I always enjoy the Rumble. A Rumble is something that, when it comes around, we always go to my mates, and we all get around the TV and watch it live. It's one of the ones I do strive to stay up for and keep going with it. But Rumbles are always fun. So Rumble for me would be the one that it wouldn't matter how much it costs, I'd be there. If it wasn't.
You'll be front row seat with your collectible chair, your Triple H flag, and be like, yes.
Yes, this is perfect.
Why not? You know what? It'll be a big moment, and you're obviously a big man with that big reign of championships. I cannot wait to see what happens for you in the future, my friend. You know what, Big Wade, mate, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the Soul Sessions. A lovely discussion, and great to have the champion here, of course. But, of course, before we sign off, one final question, of course. You know, wrestling is a great platform. It's always evolving. There's always great things going on. But I want to know, Cena, obviously, in his promo in Glasgow, said about his acclaimed Spinner Championship. Do you think if Cena does dethrone Cody Rhodes, he will bring back the WWE Spinner Championship design?
I'd like to say yes, with the amount of ones they're putting out there, with the unique ones, and with you got the Punk ones they brought out. So I think it would be a. With that being said, I think it's going to be a no. Because again, it will be on the expectation. Because he's now going to be expected to bring that title back. Likelihood is he'll go back to the Winged Eagle.
Ooh.
Just to that's that turning the screw and go, look what I've brought back. So that's my opinion.
Oh lordy, that's going to annoy the internet community very, very much. Good lord, making me nearly choke on my pint there with how crazy that statement was. Oh, I've got to get the lungs back in check. But that's going to be the joy of it, brother. I think we get to enjoy the ride. And of course, folks, you know, if you love what you've heard on this great episode with Big Wade, I will put a link to his Instagram down below. You can click it, follow his journey as champion, and see what he gets up to next in the great world of professional wrestling. Well, folks, as I say, finish up your drink. I'm not, because my larynx is still fighting back. Put your chairs away, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Soul Sessions. Boom.
Now I'm out there here with you. Gonna live like animals do. No more laws and no more rules.